Let's look at some sample problems from section 12.3 on measures of dispersion, sometimes called measures of variation. And we'll begin with number 4. The directions in our text say to find the range and the standard deviation. We're to round the answers to the nearest hundredth. So range we find by taking the high value or the highest value minus the lowest value. So in this case, our highest value, I believe, is a 22. Our lowest value looks like a 5. So our range would be 17. So that's our answer to part A. Now for part B, we need to find the mean. And actually, I may have to erase the range there in order to create my table. 5. I want to add all of these up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 values, so we'll divide by 9. I'm getting 10.6 repeating. So let's just call that a 10.7. Okay, so I am going to erase the range here so I can at least the calculation of it. So what we have in our table is we begin with our x's. In the next column we want to subtract the mean from each one of our x's, and then we want to square that value. So those are what we need in our table. So we start with 6 minus the 10.7. We get negative 4.7. 5 minus the 10.7. It's going to be negative 5.7. That's going to be a negative 0.7. 8 minus 10.7. Negative 2.7. Negative 1.7. 15 minus 10.7. It's 4.3. 22 minus 10.7. It's 11.3. 16 minus 10.7. It's 5.3. And we have one of these already, so okay, so again I'm going to erase this so I can do my next column. Okay, so now I want to square each one of these. I'm going to get 2209, 32.49, 0.49, 7.29, 2.89, 18.49, 127.69, 28.09, and this is 32.49. And again, we want to add up this column. almost done. Alright. Alright, hopefully I got all the numbers in there right. Doesn't look like. I don't believe I did. I believe it's going to be 65.25 plus that is 272. Okay. Alright, I added them and then I started adding again without adding that amount to it. So I think that's right. Okay, so for our standard deviation, we want the square root of the sum of the x's minus the means squared divided by n minus 1. And we had 9 values, so n is 9. So we're going to take the square root of 272.01 divided by 9 minus 1 would be an 8. Alright, divide that by 8 and take the square root of I'm getting 5.83. Oh, it's a miracle I got the right answer. Okay. So we found the standard deviation. This is the answer to part B. Range is the answer to part A of 17. Now, these can be done using a table. In most cases, I do use a calculator when I'm calculating the standard deviation, particularly as my list of numbers gets larger and the numbers get messier. So that's what I'm going to do with number 10. With number 10, I'm going to take our numbers, and so we have 312.3, 310.4. All of this could be done like we did in number 4, but I'm going to use a calculator just to show you how you can do it, particularly if you have a TI-83 or 84 plus. You can use the calculator to do this. 311.1, 310.8, 313.5, 312.6, 310.5, and 314.2. They don't tell us what these numbers represent. They just have us working to find the mean and the, or rather the range and the standard deviation. So let's start with the range. We can do that just with a regular calculator. First, we need to identify the largest number we have in the group. The largest number, and I believe it's that one. And then we need the smallest number in the group, and I believe it's that one. So if we take 313.5 minus 309.3, we get 4.2 for our range. Okay, and I'm not getting the right answer. So that means either I copied a number wrong or I identified the wrong one as, oh, there's a larger one. 314.2, so let me correct that. $314.2 minus 309.3. Let's see if I get the right answer this time. Minus 309.3. 4.9, that's correct. So this is our highest. This is our lowest. Okay, now to do the standard deviation, that's the one that gets messy. That's the one where we need the table. I'm going to go to my TI 8384 Smart Screen. It's going to take it a moment to come up. And I'm going to have to enter the numbers on it. Okay, so let me enter the numbers with my pen here, my computer pen. I need 312.3. Oops. I want to go to, let's go back. Clear. Okay. I want to go to stat before I start entering the numbers. And let me clear my list. I'm going to highlight the list name and hit clear. And enter to clear the list. Highlight list 1, hit clear, and enter to clear that list. Okay, now I'm ready to enter my numbers. 312.3, and I want to enter 310.4, enter 309.3, enter. I want 311.1, enter. 310.8, I'm going to enter. 313.5, enter. 312.6, 310.5, whoops, that one I made an error on. 310.5, okay. 311, okay, and 314.2. Okay, so I've entered all of my numbers under Stat Edit. Now I go back to Stat, and I want to choose Calc. I want one variable statistics. This is going to give me a lot of information, so I'm just going to leave it there and press Enter. And press Enter again. That indicates it's in L1. So notice I'm getting the mean X bar is 311.57. So I'm getting the mean right here. The sample standard deviation, which is the one we're doing, is this SX. So 1.529, and we want it to the nearest hundredth, so it'd be 1.53. 1.53. So that's the one we want for that. A little bit later on we'll talk about some of the other values that are near the bottom. We've already talked about the median, but later on we'll be talking about these quartiles. Notice it also tells the minimum and the maximum to help you find the range. So let's scroll back up so we can again see our standard deviation is 1.53 if we round it correctly. So 1.53. Okay, I think I'm going to stop on this one, and in the next recording what we'll do is we'll take a look at finding the information from a frequency table. And also we'll look at Chebyshev's theorem. So those are two things that we'll take a look at in the next recording.